Good morning and welcome to the Hawaii State Senate Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection. We are here for our Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, 9:30 a.m. decision-making agenda on matters that were heard last week and deferred until today. The first measure on this 9:30 a.m. DM agenda is SB 69 relating to deposits of public funds. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with a defective effective date of July 1, 2050. Members, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator McKelvey is excused. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senator Awa is also excused. Your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The next measure on the agenda is SB 525 relating to mandatory prior written notice and consent in contracts to provide cremation services. Members, the recommendation on this measure is to defer. The introducer has had dialogue with the advocates and the industry, and we will be pursuing a resolution later in the concurrent resolution later in the session. The next measure is SB 805 relating to condominium insurance. This is the mutual insurance company measure. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments adopting the Attorney General's proposed recommendations, which delete unnecessary sections of the HEMIC statute, clarify that the condominium loan fund is in the state treasury, and delete the HHRF appropriation, and instead amend Section 5 of the bill by converting the general fund appropriation in the bill to a loan, similar to the proposal in SB 1044. There are also some technical, non-substantive amendments, and we will defect the effective date on this measure to July 1, 2050. Any discussion? Seeing none, passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator Richards.
Aye.
Senators Senator Awa.
Aye.
Thank you. Senator McKelvey is excused. Your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The last measure on this DM agenda is SB 1141 relating to insurance protections. The recommendation is to pass with amendments. We will adopt all the proposed NAMIC revisions except those offered on page 3, which is the subject to policy limits language. We'll also amend references to wildfire in the measure, instead with a reference to catastrophic disasters. So we'll expand out application to all catastrophic disasters, and we'll add a definition. We'll also add in language that we inserted into other measures requiring insurers to respond to proposal requests for new and renewal policies at least 60 days before the policy term ends, and adding language requiring providers to automatically issue loss run reports at the end of each policy year. And to keep the measure discussion going, we will add a defective effective date of July 1, 2050. Members, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Of the members present, are there any voting in opposition or with reservations? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned. Good morning and welcome. This is our Hawaii State Senate CPN Committee 9:35 a.m. agenda. It's Tuesday, February 4th in Capitol Room 229. A few particulars. This regular hearing is being streamed live on YouTube. In the event that we need to abruptly end the event due to technical difficulties, we will reconvene to address any outstanding business on Friday, February 7th, 2025 at 9:47 a.m. And a notice will be posted on the legislature's website. For new testifiers to the CPN committee, we do observe a 2-minute testimony limit. If you have submitted written testimony, it has been reviewed by the committee. I've read every piece of testimony, and so we would respectfully request that you summarize or stand on your testimony rather than reading your remarks verbatim. We have a number of measures on this agenda, and we'd like to move them out before next week's deadline. If you'd like to clarify your written remarks or add any additional comments, you're free to do so. For those testifying remotely, please note that your audio will be muted and video disabled until it's your turn. And if there are technical glitches, we will try to come back to you, but we may move on just to keep things rolling. Okay, first measure is SB 493 relating to veterinarians. This measure establishes the Veterinarian Workforce Development Special Fund and Veterinarian Workforce Development Fee to support recruitment and retention of veterinarians in the state. It also establishes the Veterinarian Workforce Development Loan Repayment and Scholarship Program to support qualified veterinarians committed to or currently working in veterinary medicine in Hawaii. It looks like first up online, we have the Hawaii Board of Veterinary Medicine with comments.
Thank you, Chair. This is Carrie Shahan. I'm the Executive Officer of the Hawaii Board of Veterinary Medicine. We stand on our written testimony, and thank you for this opportunity to testify. I will be available if there are questions later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the Hawaii Department of Agriculture submitting late testimony in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Cedric Gates here on behalf of the Department of Agriculture. We stand on our testimony in strong support of this measure. Here for any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you for standing on your testimony. Next, we have the Hawaiian Humane Society in support.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Stephanie Kendrick here representing our CEO, Anna Neubauer, in strong support of this measure. You have our written testimony. I just wanted to add that we're extremely grateful to the bill's author, Senator Richards, for his attention to the veterinary shortage in our state, which is critical and hits nonprofits like ourselves particularly hard in terms of being able to recruit and retain talent. We'd love to see more of our local talent that goes to the mainland to get educated as a veterinarian, since we don't have a veterinary school in the state, return home to serve their communities. And we think that this measure is a great step in that direction. Mahalo for your attention.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the Tax Foundation of Hawaii offering comments.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. And the next, let me see. Submitting late testimony, we have the Hawaii Veterinary Medical Association in opposition. Good morning.
My name is Jill Yoshisato. I'm a practicing veterinarian in Hawaii and also the Executive Vice President of the Hawaii Veterinary Medical Association. So I'm here on behalf of the local veterinary community, and we wanted to express our opposition to SB 493 as written. We do greatly appreciate the legislature's support of our profession and attempt to address the current workforce shortage that we have. We are concerned, we share the Board of Veterinary Medicine's concern that they feel they do not have the current expertise or capabilities to administer the special fund or loan repayment program. And we wanted to draw attention to the fact that Hawaii already participates in a current alternative scholarship program, which is the WICHI Professional Student Exchange Program. This allows resident recipients to pay in-state tuition to veterinary school, participating veterinary schools in other states because Hawaii does not have its own vet school. This does result in substantially lower student debt levels upon graduation. These funds are already appropriated by the state legislature and allocated by the governor on an annual basis. And we would ask that the legislature consider funding more WICHI seats for Hawaii veterinary students rather than creating a new special fund or loan repayment program. We also do support the enforcement of the requirement that WICHI recipients would return to Hawaii to serve for at least 1 year for each year of support that they receive from the state or repay the support to the state. Currently, this service obligation is not being enforced, and the WICHI veterinary recipients had about a 50% return rate from 2008 to 2017. And lastly, we do have concerns with the licensing fee being put on our current veterinary practitioners in the state. We feel that this is a negligible amount that would be raised in revenue, about $45,000 every 2 years for the 750 vets that are currently licensed in the state, and also discourage licensure, particularly for out-of-state vets that come in maybe on a temporary or locum basis and do help to fulfill our workforce gaps. But thank you very much for your support, and we hope that you can look at other alternative routes, such as funding more WICHE seats rather than a new program. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have written testimony from the Department of Budget and Finance offering comments. The Animal Interfaith Alliance in Britain in support. Joanna Milo, Stephanie McLaughlin, Jennifer Chiwa, Melanie Kim, Serena Stefanich Phillip, Jane Arnold, Tori Kinoshita, Bill Dixon, Micah Brodsky. All those prior individuals were in support. Micah Brodsky is in opposition. Tanya Chung is in support, and late testimony from Renee Rabb and Carol Richelieu in support. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay, we'll move on to the next measure. Thank you very much. This is SB 606, relating to the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. This measure requires the Director of Commerce and Consumer Affairs to make all business registration applications available online, and requires all applications to contain certain contact information. DCCA with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Winnie Nungo here as the Director of DCCA. We stand on our written testimony offering comments on this bill. And we also have present,
If you're gonna go beyond stand, then you gotta say.
Okay, I'm just saying present is Ty Nohara, the Securities Commissioner, who is the head of our Business Registration Division, to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. That's all the registered testimony we've received on this measure. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay, we'll move on. SB 822, relating to the Landlord-Tenant Code. This measure authorizes a landlord to petition a district court for a temporary restraining order, permanent restraining order, or injunction to compel a tenant's compliance with Section 521-51 Hawaii Revised Statutes. Let me see. First, we have, only testifier registered live is Officer Stephen Tanaka, HPD, in opposition online. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. This is Major Stephen Tanaka from HPD's District 7, East Honolulu. I stand on our written testimony in opposition to Senate Bill 822 relating to the Landlord-Tenant Code. I'll be available for questioning.
Stacen Tanaka, my apologies, Major. That's all the written testimony, or that's all the registered testimony we've received on this measure. We have written comments from the judiciary and support, written testimony and support from David Chi. Members, questions? Okay, we'll move on. SB 825, relating to eviction mediation, is next. This measure proposes to, beginning in February of 2026, extend the period for notice of termination of a rental agreement, requires landlords to engage in mediation and delay filing an action for summary possession if a tenant schedules or attempts to schedule mediation, and requires landlords to provide specific information in the 10 calendar day notice to tenants. It also has a sunset of February 4th, 2027. First up, Mediation Center of the Pacific in support. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Tracy Wilkin. I'm the Executive Director of the Mediation Center of the Pacific, and we are in support of this bill. I stand on my testimony. I want to reinforce, amongst all the reasons that's been cited, why this is so important. It's to change a culture and a mindset of tenants not reaching out to their landlords when they know they're having a problem or going to have a problem, and landlords trying to be nice and waiting. So the hole becomes deep, and then there's nothing else to do but to evict. And to change this culture and mindset, this bill is important because it requires landlords to participate. We're doing a lot of outreach to educate tenants to voice early that there's going to be an issue, so through mediation, they can reach a realistic agreement. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Next, we have, looks like Jamie Levitt, also of the Mediation Center of the Pacific, online.
Not available on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Hawaii Realtors with comments.
Thank you. We stand in our testimony.
Thank you very much. We also have written testimony and support from the Judiciary, State of Hawaii. Hasna Atri, Lisa Jacobs, Mimi Beams, Judy Bell, Giuseppe Leone, Terry O'Connell, and Gordon Arakaki submitting written testimony, all in support. And late testimony from Signe Godfrey, Bryant Galindo, Porni Sponsel, and Julie Mitchell, also all in support. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay, the next measure on the agenda is SB 1276. Relating to agriculture, this measure extends the offense of false labeling of Hawaii-grown coffee to include roasted coffee, and imposes a $10,000 fine for each separate offense of false labeling of Hawaii-grown roasted coffee. First up, Hawaii Department of Agriculture in support.
Good morning, Chair. The department stands in support. Wow.
Thank you very much. We also have online the Synergistic Hawaii Agricultural Council in support.
Not on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you very much. We have written testimony from the Hawaii Farm Bureau, Hawaii Food and Policy, the Hawaii Coffee Association, and the Hawaii Coffee Growers Association, all in support. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, questions? Okay. The next measure is SB 1293 relating to the Residential Landlord Tenant Code. This measure provides the amount of recovery for tenants who prevail in civil suits for a landlord's violation of the Residential Landlord Tenant Code within an area that was a federally declared disaster area as of August 8th, 2023. It also provides for reasonable attorney fees and recovery for the cost of the suit. We only have one individual submitting testimony, Bronson Teixeira, in support. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? All right, we'll move on. The next measure is SB 1369 relating to Title 24 Hawaii Revised Statutes. This measure provides amendments to net solvency report and filing requirements for mutual benefit societies, dental insurers, and health maintenance organizations. The only testifier on this measure is the DCCA in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Jerry Bontak, the Insurance Commissioner. We'll stand on our written testimony in support of this measure.
Thank you for standing on your testimony. Members, any questions?
No.
All right, we'll keep it moving. The next measure is SB 1373 relating to administrative licensure actions against sex offenders. This measure authorizes the DCCA and certain licensing boards to automatically revoke and refuse to renew, restore, or reinstate the professional licenses of registered sex offenders. First up, we have the DCCA in support. Director
On
Ondo.
my list, I understood that the various boards had submitted testimony, but if we had submitted testimony on behalf of the department, I stand on that testimony supporting this mission.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have the Board of Psychology offering comments.
Good morning, Chair. Christopher Fernandez, Executive Officer for the Board of Psychology. The board, I'm here to stand on the board's testimony and offering comments.
Thank you. Hawaii Board of Naturopathic Medicine.
Good morning, Chair. It's Christopher Fernandez again. standing on the board's testimony, offering comments.
Thank you very much. Board of Dentistry in support, online.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Sheena Choi, Executive Officer of the Board of Dentistry. The board stands on its written testimony and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you also intend to stand on your testimony in support on behalf of the Board of Massage Therapy?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have the Hawaii Board of Chiropractic in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. This is Rasha Araki. The board stands on its written testimony. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. Board of Nursing, offering comments.
Good morning. Alexander Pang, Executive Officer for the Board of Nursing. We stand on our written testimony offering comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Board of Barbering and Cosmetology, offering comments.
Thank you, Chair. This is Carrie Shahan, Executive Officer for the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology. We stand on our written testimony in support of this bill. I also am the Executive Officer of the Board of Optometry, and the Board of Optometry stands on its written testimony in support of this bill. I'm here for questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We also have testimony for the Hawaii Medical Board in support.
Good morning, Chair. The board will stand on its written testimony in support of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And submitting late testimony in support, the Honolulu Police Department online. Good morning, Major. Good morning. We have you now. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Good morning, Chair and Vice Chair. I'm Carlene Lau, Acting Major of the Honolulu Police Department Records and Identification Division. We stand on our written testimony in support of this bill.
Thank you very much. We also have written testimony in support from the Board of Physical Therapy, comments from the Board of Acupuncture, and support from the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And also late testimony and support from the Sex Abuse Treatment Center. Is there anyone else who would like to testify on this measure?
Good morning, Chair. Christopher Fernandez, Executive Officer for the Board of Speech Pathology and Audiology. I'm sorry for the late testimony, but
Oh, we have it.
I'm standing on the testimony and supporting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions?
Chair.
Senator Richards.
Yeah, Director Ando. I don't know if you can answer this question, because I think it's a constitutional question, but do we have the ability to do this from a constitutional standpoint? Are we able to limit this?
I know that this came up in a particular issue that was raised regarding a license renewal for, I can't remember if it was physical therapy and acupuncture. And there was an issue about if someone had been should be registered as a sex offender, whether or not the license could be renewed or the application could be rejected. There was California law that was in place that did so. We did ask that the Attorney General's office look at whether or not that could be done and to implement something similar statute here for Hawaii. And that's what resulted in this this bill.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Director. I appreciate that. Thanks, Chair. Sounds like the homework's been done. I appreciate that. I support it. I just want to make sure we can do it. Thank you, Chair.
Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you. We'll move on. The next measure is SB 1493 relating to service animals. This measure requires sellers or providers of emotional support animals to provide written notice to the buyers that the animal does not have the special training required to qualify as a service animal and is not entitled to the rights and privileges accorded by law to a service animal. First up, we have the Attorney General's office with comments. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Leanne Brewer, Deputy Attorney General, and we provide comments on this bill. The written notice requirement of this bill applies to out-of-state and online retailers and may impermissibly burden interstate commerce if it is found to be excessive in relation to the putative local benefits, particularly if this bill can be, the goals of the bill can be accomplished in a way that provides a less impact on interstate commerce. But even if the bill is not found to be unconstitutional, it does lack an enforcement mechanism. And so if this bill passes out of committee, we recommend that the enforcement mechanism be clarified. And we also provided suggestions for technical amendments in the testimony that we would request be made. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I will be available for questions.
Thank you very much. NFIB in support online.
Not on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. PL Fritz in support online.
I'm here. I'm waiting for my video to start.
Good morning. We have you.
Good morning. I'm Peter Fritz. I'm an attorney. I used to work with the Department of Taxation. I'm an advocate for individuals with disabilities. I brought this bill, which originated in California and mirrors a California bill, to the attention of certain legislatures that brought it forth as a bill in Hawaii. Misrepresentation of service animals is a real problem, and this bill attempts to cure that or address those particular interests. Prior to testifying today, I did take a look to see if anything would appear regarding a challenge to this particular law in California, and there was none. Having worked with the Department of Taxation and being very familiar with the Bacchus import case, which discusses burdens upon interstate commerce, I'm aware of what constitutes a burden of interstate commerce, and this bill treats both in-state and out-of-state businesses the same. I'm not quite certain, and I couldn't tell you without more research. I can't understand the complete AG's position on this particular bill, which would essentially say that if Hawaii passes a law, it burdens interstate commerce. This bill makes no distinction between in-state and out-of-state. Because of the problems that people have had with misrepresentations, I respectfully ask that this committee move the bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Donald Sakamoto in support online. Okay, we also have late testimony from the Disability and Community. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Sakamoto. Oh, we lost you. We have you.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, committee members. Donald Sakamoto.
Mr. Sakamoto, if you could lower your camera just a bit, we can see your face.
Now?
A little bit more. A little bit more. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Donald Sakamoto, in full support of this bill. It's time to pass this bill, like Peter Fritz said. I know Peter personally. As a blind individual, we need to prepare to have this bill passed in here in Hawaii. I support my testimony and my phrase, by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail, by Benjamin Franklin. So please prepare and pass this bill for this legislative session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to testify on this measure? Okay, we have written comments. Oh.
Just standing on our comments.
Thank you for standing on your testimony. We also have written comments from the Department of Human Services. Hawaii Fido Service Dogs in support, Hawaii First Realty in support. We do have the Realtors, the National Federation of the Blind of Hawaii in support. The Hawaii Council of Community Associations in support, the National Organization of Parents of Blind Children in support, and the following individuals all in support: Philip Nerney, Marie Kuthuft, Sherry Shimizu, and Emily Cruz. Members, any questions? If you'd like to submit testimony, please.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Elizabeth Pearson. I am with the Disability and Communication Access Board. We did submit written testimony. We just wanted to highlight a few key points that misrepresentation and misinformation is a persisting issue. So this bill would definitely have a need. We would like to encourage to designate an enforcement agency, as well as require this for those medical practitioners who are providing documentation to clarify a disability with the need of an emotional support animal, for them to also provide the written disclosure that this bill includes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We do have your testimony. Actually, if I can have you come up for a question. We did receive your testimony late, and it does propose to replace sections 1 and 2 of the bill in its entirety. Can you just summarize what your proposed amendments do compared to the?
Yes, let me grab that.
Sure.
From the computer. Apologies. So our recommendations that to replace entirely include so the section 2 replacement is sorry, I'm trying to look at exactly. It's
Sure.
been a lot of testimony. So the entire replacements that we are suggesting are replacements that highlight our initial recommendations, which were to specify an enforcement agency and amend the bill requiring professionals who provide reliable documentation to confirm a disability for an ESA. So that was just for it to be in line with different FHA and ADA requirements. If you have any more specific questions, I would be happy to forward them to our executive director and have him reach out.
Okay. Members, any questions? No, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to the last measure on this agenda, SB 1662, relating to the Residential Landlord Tenant Code. This measure prohibits a landlord or the landlord's agent from charging an application fee for a background check or credit report if an applicant provides a certified copy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hawaii Realtors offering comments.
Thank you. Stand on our comments.
Thank you very much. We also have written testimony in support from Bronson Teixeira and Raylene Tenno. Is there anyone else who would like to testify? Members, any questions for the Realtors? Okay, seeing none, we'll recess for decision-making. Okay, welcome back. This is decision-making for our Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, 9:35 a.m. agenda in conference room 229. The first measure on the agenda is SB 493 relating to veterinarians. The recommendation is to pass this measure with amendments. We will adopt the proposed amendments offered by the Board of Veterinary Medicine. And in response to the testimony, we will remove the provisions proposing to add licensing fees. We will blank the appropriations. There are also some technical non-substantive amendments. We will add a blank appropriation, I'm sorry. There are technical non-substantive amendments and will defect the effective date to encourage further conversation to July 1, 2050. Members, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey?
Yes.
Senator Richards is excused. Senator Awa?
Aye.
Your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The next measure is SB 606 relating to the DCCA. There was no supporting testimony, so we will defer this measure. The next measure is SB 822 relating to the landlord-tenant code. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments. We will adopt the recommendation of submitted by the judiciary to decouple the injunctions and summary possession actions. And we will add a proposed part 2 of the measure, establishing a working group facilitated by the judiciary to undertake a comprehensive review and update of the landlord-tenant code, with a report and recommendations to be submitted 20 days before the start of the 2027 legislature. There are also some technical non-substantive amendments and will defect the effective date of the measure to July 1, 2050. Members, any discussion?
Quick discussion. Chair.
Senator McKelvey.
Just for clarification, so is the judiciary, is a DCCA with OCP going to be involved in the working group, or is that going to be left up to the judiciary to invite other participants to the group? Or are we just going to see how this pans out later on?
We can add in some language allowing some discretion among the members, okay. But I was inclined to allow the Senate President and Speaker of the House to name 2 members and leave some at-large seats open. But the facilitation would be conducted by the judiciary.
Okay.
Okay. Text and a defective date, July 1, 2050. Members, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, are there any voting with reservations or objections? No. Thank you. Let's see, Senator Awa is a no vote. Your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Next measure is SB 825 relating to eviction mediation. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments. We will adopt the proposed amendments offered by the judiciary, that mediation take place within 30 days of contact with the mediation center, and will defect the effective date to July 1, 2050. Members, any discussion? Okay, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Of the members present, are there any voting with reservations or objections? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next measure is SB 1276 relating to agriculture. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with the defective effective date of July 1, 2050. Any discussion?
Chair.
Senator McKelvey.
I appreciate keeping this going. However, my copy guys from Maui were caught totally by surprise by this bill. And so I'd like a little more time to discuss it with them. So just for now, to flag the concerns, I'll be going with reservations.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair also votes aye. Senator McKelvey.
Reservations.
Senator Richards is excused. Senator Awa.
Aye.
Okay, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. Next measure is SB 1293 relating to the residential landlord tenant code. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments. We'll defect the effective date to July 1, 2050, and there are also some technical, non-substantive amendments. Any discussion? Okay, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations, objections? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. The next measure is SB 1369 relating to Title 24 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. This is an administration bill related to net solvency report filing requirements for mutual benefit societies. The recommendation is to pass with a defective effective date of July 1, 2050. Any discussion? Okay, Vice Chair passing with amendments, Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations, objections? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you. The next measure is SB 1373, relating to administrative licensure actions against sex offenders. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments. There was a reference to the Board of Optometry that needs to be updated, as noted in the testimony. There are also some technical, non-substantive amendments, and we will defect the effective date of this measure to July 1, 2050. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations, objections? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Next measure is SB 1493, relating to service animals. Recommendation on this measure is to pass with amendments, adopting the proposed revisions submitted by the Attorney General's office and the proposed revisions submitted by the Disability Communication Access Board. We'll also defect the effective date of this measure to July 1, 2050 to further the conversation. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Thank you. Of the members present, any voting with reservations, objections? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. The last measure on the agenda is SB 1662, relating to the Residential Landlord Tenant Code. The recommendation on this measure is to pass with a defective effective date of July 1, 2050, and also make some technical, non-substantive changes. Members, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair passing with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Of the members present, any voting with reservations, objections? Hearing none, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned.